checkout or things like that. So, I mean, I think that's, it's not super surprising there. I mean, if anything, I think, one of the things that that the hotels are probably doing more of now is trying to use, do a better job of using the loyalty program to tie into behaviors that they want to see out of people. So for instance, it's like, if you want free internet in the room, you have to be part of the loyalty program. So it's like a kind of a stick or a carrot, I guess, to be part of the loyalty program in order to access different things within, features within the properties. And, you don't really see airlines doing that quite as much anymore, certainly not in the U.S. I mean, we actually talked about that a lot at JetBlue when they were about to launch Wi-Fi on the planes, and we really had, a long and hard discussion about, would you require sort of being a member of the loyalty program in order to access Wi-Fi. As the head of the loyalty program at the time, I felt very hard for doing that, but there was sort of a philosophical sense that was not something that we wanted to do. And you just don't see airlines doing that a lot. It's not like being part of the loyalty program unlocks something at a basic level for basic travelers. But in hotels, it is. And so, that to me does then suggest that it's also just they're also looking at it as a way to broaden their base. I mean, I think the shopping experience for hotel purchases is a bit different than it is for airlines, in that it's not necessarily down to the dollar difference. So it is about having sort of this, customer base that would be open to staying with you later. But I think that would be one sort of area. I think the co-brand card space within hotels is probably becoming quite a bit more competitive because of the consolidation. So you've seen with the Marriott and Starwood consolidation in particular, this kind of real intense push for Amex to try and keep that business. And in some ways, probably if anything, that's more of a challenge for the credit card companies than it is for the end consumers, because it does sort of tighten the economics of those cards. As you have to end up kind of fighting to sort of get your foot in the door there. Does that help?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I would just add, and probably it's a staple, but now the digital experience comes into play very much as well, and the value add of this loyalty programs would be a sleek, modern app, which, for example, Starwood has a top-notch app. Your example with Sephora testifies for the same. I'm a big fan of American Airlines app, so that makes loyalty program people versus non-loyalty program people being distinct from each other. So definitely that's.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think, it's a really good point. And this is where, I think you go back to Uber as the example, where ease and value add in people's lives makes a big difference. So, for a business traveler who's traveling all the time, having a really, really easy to use app that gives you the functionality that you need whenever you need it, is really powerful. By the same token, I agree with you. I think Starwood and a few of the other hotels, have done a good job where you can unlock your door with your app. There's digital keys and things like that. So there's real power in that. And I do really think that that is playing a bigger role in people's decisions about their loyalty to a company. Is it easy to transact with you? And you want to take away any potential barrier that someone might have to to give you business and to be transparent. I mean, in my current role at MoMA, we have a real problem with that. We make it really hard for people to stay with us transactionally because our checkout flow is pretty bad. So we're working on I'm actually quite focused on payments. And things like that to really lower the barrier to stay with us, because you think about, again, generationally, if you make it easy for people to transact and kind of within the way that people want to do it, they're just so much more willing to like give you money. So like